Hi, my name is Amanda Vanegas, and I will be talking about the Human Resource Management final semester project. So let's start with the role of HR in an organization. So it's going to start with this question: is the organizational role of HR has changed considerably over the years? How can a human resource department play a vital role in partnering with an organization to achieve its strategic goals and objectives? So for the human resource department must follow the planning process to achieve the organization's strategic goals and objectives. The basic planning process consists of 5 steps: setting goals, making basic planning forecasts, reviewing alternative courses of action, evaluating which options are best, and then choosing and implementing your plan. The company's hierarchy of goals starts at the top with management's overall strategic plan for the company. So here we're talking about factors affecting HR. Given the world's economy is becoming increasingly complex, with changes occurring rapidly and instability becoming more expected than stability, what is an example where human resources can assist organization in keeping up with trends within an industry and marketplace? So the 3 are global competition, technological advancement, litigation, and legislation. So the example when I read was when the business expands its process into different countries, the effect of globalization on human resource development and management is important. Companies need to take a diverse range of possible adjustments to be able to hire, train, retain, and sustain the force that's much distributed throughout different nations, which often have vary. Human resource departments must adjust their thought and practices to include cultural conflicts, international roles, and technological developments. So in this slide, we're going to be talking about recruitment and selection. If your human resource department were to create an employee retention team or unit dedicated to keeping the most talented members of your organization, what 2 strategies would you propose to motivate current employees within the organization? So I think that developing leaders who will help with further training and development, focus on teamwork, provide positive feedback, and assign meaningful work or keystones in employee retention. Employees need to feel valued and appreciated, be given feedback, provide with growth opportunities, be given work-life balance options, and have trust and confidence in their leaders. So one example that I thought is the work hours are increasing numbers a vital issue for the place that they want to work. When competing groups offer better or more flexible hours, employees are possibly to begin to look elsewhere. For example, if most of your employees are parents, many of them would possibly require extra bendy arrangements so they can drop their children at daycare or pick them up early from school. Younger personnel might be pursuing tires part-time or working other gigs or going to school as well for younger employees, and you want to be able to work with them and their schedule. So continuing with recruitment and selection, this question is, what is senior management's role in employee retention? So leaders are crucial due to the fact that they have an effect on the motivation and morale of employees. So employee retention includes a variety of steps taken to fulfill the personnel so that they continue to be with the employer for a longer duration. Strong measures must be taken to maintain employees who have spent a good quantity of time in the employer and know it in and out. It is essential to keep the proficient personnel who are loyal in the direction of the company and can make contributions effectively. An employee quits his job every time he faces trouble at the workplace and is not at ease with his work. The job should be difficult enough but be able to succeed, and the employee should research something new every day for them to stick to it for a length of time. It is the duty of the crew chief to make sure that the group participants are contented with their work and share a suitable feeling amongst themselves. Every crew member should get the equal records from their boss for them to continue to be cozy and loyal and stay within the organizational. So this is where a manager's role, I think, comes into play, as well as HR gathering together as a team and working with that and seeing what they can do to help someone stick within the organization. So here we're going to be talking about training and development. Performance management is the process through which companies ensure that employees are working toward the organizational goals, developing skills, appraising performance, and rewarding employees. What are some of the positive consequences of maintaining consistent and effective performance appraisals? So performance appraisals result in a more influenced workforce, which in return positively impacts productiveness and will increase an organization's aggressive edge. In addition, employee, family members are enhanced, ensuing in less stress for managers. Effective performance appraisal systems go beyond their primary goal of ensuring the maximum utilization of every employee's skill, knowledge, and hobbies. They additionally serve to enhance employer-employee relations, HR development, and employee career development. Performance appraisal targets can be first rate, be done when the organization, the manager comes to play, and the employees all work together while recognizing that notwithstanding specific aim variations, everyone is working toward attaining some measure to success. Identifying frequent denominators that hyperlink that special definition of a success for all involved is what determines a successful performance appraisal program. So this slide is still going to be within the training and development area. So the question is, express some examples of actively managing an organization's talent. So I think leadership involvement is very important. The need for more leadership involvement in talent management is driven by the critically of talent strategy development, articulation, and execution. Some business leaders are starting to play an increasingly visible and active role in talent management. Strategies in order to have a direct impact on workforce engagement and performance. The pressure to attract and retain key talent has led organizations to extend increased energy and resources on talent-related incentives over the past half-decade. Significant progress has been made on a variety of talent management fronts, from getting foundational programs in place to creating and developing new programs such as high potential development, leadership development, and succession planning. However, most of the progress has been made in the executive branch with less focus beyond the highest management level. So now speaking of compensation and motivation. So the question is this: in an era of diminishing resources where organizations in the U.S. are at times constrained from raising employee wages and salaries and from improving benefits because of low wage competition from globalization. How can an organization motivate its employees to increase their productivity and performance without increasing compensation? So some of the ways to maintain and increase productivity and performance without pay rate is recognition and attention. When your employees accomplish something, they have achieved something. Recognition is also free, so it's a form of recognition and it's a specific form. So for example, physically applauding your people by giving them a round of applause for specific achievements. When? The answer is whenever and wherever. At meetings or company-sponsored social gatherings, a luncheon, or in the office, at the end of the shift, before a shift, and whenever possible in the middle of a shift. Coaching is employee development. Your only cost is time. For whatever reasons, too many people feel that they only need a little bit of training, but training never ends. Your employee needs to sometimes feel the potential that they have ahead of them. What opportunities are there for growth? The issue is sometimes forgotten as an ingredient to use to motivate your employees. So give people your leadership roles to reward their performance and also to help you identify future promotable people. Most people are stimulated by leadership roles, even in spot appearances. For example, when visitors come to your workplace, use this opportunity to allow an employee to take their role for visitor's guide. So a great place to keep hand out leadership roles is to allow your people to lead before meetings. Utilize your employees' strengths and skills. So there's many things that we can do that doesn't involve money, and I feel like these two can really help out. So here is employee and labor relations. In one safety scenario, labor and management have been able to reach an agreement, and labor and management relations continues to be strained, affecting employee morale. As a new HR manager or supervisor, what specific strategy would you propose to facilitate a negotiation process between two sides that are unwilling or unable to resolve their conflict? So here, I would consider using mediation. It's a dynamic, structured, interactive process where there's a natural third party assist disputing parties in resolving conflict through the use of specialized communication and negotiation techniques. It is very resourceful and might be tough in the beginning. However, you will come to an agreement. This is one strategy I have learned that I would be good in situations particularly like this one. A big plus in this is that it does not require going to court, and you would avoid court fees. In the same objective, another question would be, what action would you take to repair the employee and labor relation? So what I would do is, employers and labor relationships are on opposite sides of the bargaining table and usually represent divergent interests. So their relationships can sometimes be highly adversarial. However, both employers and unions can gain more out of their interactions if they improve their work relationships. So in this slide, we're talking about human resources as a strategic planner. Human resources is a department charged with optimizing the human potential of an organization. What is a strategy a human resources department can take to become a more valuable resource and department in an organization? So a well-run human resource department manages an essential link to company success, quality workers, and exceptional performance. Define your customers. Every business serves its own set of customers, including the HR. The customers that the HR needs to cater to are the top management, employees, and potential employees, and then everyone else who falls under the corporate umbrella. The HR team needs to set a definition for every customer depending on their individual needs to deliver a good experience. Also, you need to understand and optimize. Once you have defined your target segment, work on the value that you can provide them. Also, corporate culture, employee engagement, performance evaluation system, and operational efficiency are a few amongst the many areas where you can make an impact. HR also plays a crucial role in defining the goals of the organization and cascading it down to the employees. Hence why HR needs to understand the goals and objectives of the organization and should effectively be able to communicate it to be defined to customers. So continuing on, this next question is, what knowledge, skills, abilities, or competencies are needed by HR managers, practitioners, professionals to develop and execute such a strategy you propose? So I think communicational skills and human resources are the primary function of the typical HR professional's job. It involves facilitating discussion between employees and employers. If a human resource manager cannot communicate clearly, they will not be successful. Both oral or written skill are required to effectively relay information. Critical thinking skills along with an ethical approach of human resources. Organizational skills are a must, and most importantly, knowledge, understanding how and why individuals enter and move within an organization is at the core of everything else you will do in human resources. So HR managers who truly add value are always attuned to the bigger picture of how HR practices relate to a successful business. Your knowledge in this area needs to be greater than anyone else's to support the objectives of employees and employers alike. After all, HR management is not just about talent acquisition, but also about retention. So in conclusion, we can see that human resources focuses on matching the needs of the business with the needs and the development of employees. Human resource management is not what it used to be. The developments of the last 2-3 decades have changed the face and practice of business. These changes have confronted managers with many opportunities and challenges, and nowhere are the opportunities and challenges more pronounced than in the area of human resources management. And I hope that all my slides were able to educate, and thank you so much.